The angel is still screaming when I put the spike through its throat. It's not a holy sound, not choir music or divine language or anything remotely beautiful. It's just screaming, high-pitched and wet. The kind of noise that comes from a body that wasn't built for pain, but learned it anyway. The spike is iron blessed 3 times and sharpened on both ends. I drive it straight through the soft tissue below the jaw and out the back of the neck. The angel convulses once, its hands clawing at the concrete floor, and then the wings snap outward hard enough to crack against the warehouse wall. Then it stops. I count to 30 while I watch for breathing. There isn't any. I pull the spike out and blood comes with it. Dark red and almost brown, smelling like copper and burnt hair. I wipe the spike clean on my jacket because the church will want it back. Relics are expensive and we're expected to return them after every job. The angel is sprawled on its stomach with its wings spread across the floor. They're massive, 12 ft each, and burned at the edges where the feathers have blackened and gone brittle. Some of the feathers are missing entirely, leaving just bone and membrane underneath. The left wing is broken in 3 places. That happened during the fall. I've seen worse. The face is still intact, so I crouch down and turn the head to the side. The eyes are open but clouded over. No pupils visible, just milky white. The mouth is slack and full of teeth that are too small and too numerous to look right. The skin is pale and bloodless. From a distance, it might look human. Up close, nothing fits the way it should. I stand up and roll my shoulders, checking my watch. 18 minutes from arrival to termination. Not bad. My name is Jonah Black, and I've been doing this since I was 16 years old. The church found me young, orphaned, angry, and exactly the kind of broken they could rebuild into something useful. They pulled me into the order before I understood what I was joining, and by the time I figured it out, I was already trained. There was no walking away after that. The order doesn't exist on paper. There are no records, no hierarchy that anyone outside can trace. We operate beneath legitimate church infrastructure in basements and back rooms and old monasteries that aren't on any map. The Vatican knows about us. They fund the whole operation. They just don't talk about it. The doctrine is simple enough that even a teenager can understand it. Angels fall when they disobey, when they hesitate, when they question orders from above. The fall burns them and breaks them, and it contaminates them in ways that make them dangerous. They're not evil, but they're unstable. They can't be saved, and they can't be allowed to reach civilians. So we put them down. It's mercy, or at least that's what Father Martins taught me during training. Father Martins was the one who taught me anatomy. Where to cut, where to strike, how to aim for the joints and wing bases and the soft spot at the base of the skull. He showed me diagrams of skeletal structures and weak points, made me memorize them, and then made me practice on cadavers. Angel corpses the order had collected and preserved in salt and holy water. They're not human, he told me once while I was wrist-deep in a dissection, but they bleed like us and they scream like us. You have to ignore that part. I learned fast. By 18, I'd killed my first one, a seraph that fell outside a truck stop in Nevada. It was still alive when I got there, crawling across the asphalt with its wings dragging behind it. It looked at me and said my name, which should have been my first warning that something was wrong with the whole system. But I was young and I believed what I'd been taught, so I put the spike through its chest. It died quietly. And Father Martins said that meant I'd done it right. I zip the body bag closed and leave it for the cleanup crew. They'll take the body, burn it, and scatter the ashes somewhere no one will find them. They'll scrub the warehouse and remove every trace of what happened here. By tomorrow, this place will just be another abandoned building with nothing to distinguish it from 1,000 others. I load the spike back into its case, leather-lined with reinforced locks, and prepare to leave. I've carried the same spike for 4 years now. It's killed 11 angels before tonight. This one makes 12. My phone buzzes in my pocket. I pull it out and see an encrypted message with a priority code I don't like. Immediate deployment. Suburban fall. Witnesses present. Children on site. Phone's active. Time critical. The coordinates are attached, and I feel my stomach drop. Suburban falls are the worst kind of assignment. Too many people, too many cameras, too much potential for exposure. The church hates exposure more than anything. Angels are supposed to fall in deserts or forests or other empty places where we can work quietly and efficiently. When they fall in neighborhoods, everything gets complicated and messy and dangerous. I grab my kit and check the weapons inside. Spike, blessed knife, restraints, and a sedative that I almost never use because angels don't respond well to it. Their blood burns it off too fast to be useful. I head for the car. The drive takes 30 minutes, and I break every speed limit to get there. The coordinates lead me to a quiet suburb with tree-lined streets and nice houses and families who probably think nothing bad will ever happen here. The angel fell in someone's backyard, and I can see the damage from 2 blocks away. The house is half collapsed, with the roof caved in and the walls cracked. Smoke is rising from a crater in the yard. People are standing in the street with their phones out filming everything. A woman is crying, and a man is yelling at someone to call 911. I park 3 houses down and grab my kit, walking fast, but not so fast that I draw attention. I'm wearing civilian clothes, jeans, and a jacket, so I look like a contractor or someone who has a reason to be here. No one stops me. The backyard is complete chaos. The crater is 15 ft wide and deep enough that I can't see the bottom from the fence line. The grass around it is burned black, and pieces of the destroyed fence are scattered across 2 yards. The angel is at the bottom of the crater, partially buried with one wing visible and twisted at an unnatural angle. I can hear it breathing, which means it's still alive. That complicates things. I slide down into the crater and my boots sink into the loose dirt. The heat is intense and the ground is still smoking. I can smell burned feathers and scorched earth and something else underneath it all. Something that smells fundamentally wrong. The angel shifts slightly and I freeze. It's trying to move, trying to dig itself out. The visible wing flexes and bone scrapes against dirt. The angel makes a sound that's somewhere between a moan and a word. I pull the spike from my kit and the angel stops moving immediately. I step closer and kneel down, starting to dig with my free hand because I need to see its head. I need to confirm it's alone and make sure it's not about to do something that will force me to kill it in front of 20 phones. The dirt comes away easily, and I see the back of its skull, the hair matted with blood and ash. I dig more and expose the shoulders and neck. The angel speaks. Jonah, my hand stops moving. The angel knows my name, and that's not supposed to happen. None of them should know who I am before I introduce myself. I grip the spike tighter and press it against the back of its neck, right where the spine meets the skull. Don't move, Jonah Black. The voice is clear and calm with no distortion or static. It sounds almost human, which makes it worse somehow. Shut up. I apply pressure until the spike breaks skin and blood wells up dark and thick. I'm going to ask you one question. You answer wrong and I end this right now. The angel doesn't respond, which I take as agreement. How many of you fell? I ask. Just me? You're lying. I'm not. I press harder and the angel flinches but doesn't try to pull away. Why did you fall here? I didn't choose this. Angels don't fall by accident. We do now. I don't like that answer. I don't like any of this. Actually, the angel is too calm and too coherent. Most of them are broken by the time I arrive, confused and panicking and barely able to speak. This one is thinking clearly and talking and using my name like we're colleagues. That's wrong on multiple levels. I'm going to pull you out. I say you fight and you die. You run and you die. You do anything I don't tell you to do and you die. Understand? Yes, I hate that it sounds relieved. I start digging faster, clearing the dirt from its torso and arms. It's not fighting or resisting. It's actually helping, pushing itself up as I pull. Within a few minutes, I've got it out of the crater and collapsed on the grass. Its face is down and its wings are spread. The left one is completely shattered with bone jutting through the feathers. The right one is burned and barely functional. The angel is breathing hard and shaking. I grab the restraints from my kit, iron cuffs connected by blessed chain, and lock them around its wrists. The angel doesn't resist at all. Thank you, it says. I don't respond because I don't know what to say to that. I need to get it out of here before someone sees us, before the phones get closer, before this becomes the kind of spectacle that ends careers and gets people killed. I haul the angel to its feet, and it stumbles. I catch it surprised by how light it is, hollow-boned and built for flight, not for falling. Walk, I say, and it does. We make it to the car without anyone noticing. I shove it into the back seat and slam the door, then check the street. People are still gathered near the destroyed house, but no one saw us leave. No one followed. I get in the driver's seat and start the engine, pulling away slowly and calmly like I'm just another guy leaving the scene. The angel is silent in the back seat for the first few minutes. Then I check the rear view mirror and see it staring at me. Why didn't you kill me? It asks. I don't answer because I don't know. I should have put the spike through its skull the moment I dug it out. That's protocol. That's what I was trained to do, but something stopped me, and I can't identify what that something was. I drive in silence and try not to think about what happens next. I drive to a safe house 40 minutes outside the city. It's an old farmhouse the order keeps for situations exactly like this. Off the grid, no neighbors, surrounded by empty fields. The kind of place where you can do what needs to be done without anyone hearing the screams. The angel hasn't spoken since we left the suburb. I keep checking the rear view mirror, and it's just sitting there with its head down and its wings folded as much as the restraints allow. The chains rattle every time I hit a bump in the road. Blood has soaked through the back of my seat where the broken wing is pressed against the upholstery. I'll have to burn the car after this. I pull up to the farmhouse and kill the engine. The sun is setting and the sky is orange and red, which seems wrong somehow, like the world should acknowledge what's happening here with storm clouds or darkness or something appropriately biblical. Instead, it's just a nice evening. I get out and open the back door. The angel looks up at me with those clouded eyes and doesn't move. We're here, I say, and it nods like it understands, like it's been to places like this before. I help it out of the car because it can barely stand. The fall did more damage than I initially thought. Its left leg is fractured and every step makes it flinch. The wings drag behind it, leaving trails in the dirt. We make it to the house, and I get the door open with one hand while supporting its weight with the other. The inside is bare. Concrete floors, metal table, drain in the center of the room. There are hooks on the ceiling for hanging bodies and a shelf of cleaning supplies against the far wall. This is where the order does its wet work when a warehouse isn't available. I've been here 3 times before, and I've never left without a body bag. I lower the angel onto the floor near the drain. It collapses immediately and the wings spread out around it. The feathers are falling off now, drifting across the concrete like ash. The angel is shaking badly. Shock, probably blood loss. The fall itself does something to their systems that human medicine can't fix. You're dying, I say. It's not a question. Yes. The angel's voice is quieter now, strained. The fall wounds don't heal. Not like this. How long do you have? Hours, maybe a day. I should just speed up the process. Put the spike through its skull and call it mercy. That's what I'm here for. That's the job. But I don't reach for the spike yet. Instead, I pull out my phone and take a photo of the angel's face. The church requires documentation before and after. Proof of the kill, evidence that the job was done correctly. The angel watches me do it. You're going to report this? I'm supposed to, but you haven't yet. I put the phone away. Not yet. Why? That's a good question. I've been asking myself the same thing since I pulled it out of that crater. By now, I should have contacted my handler and confirmed the execution. Instead, I'm standing in a safe house having a conversation with something I was trained to kill on sight. You knew my name, I say. In the crater, you said it before I told you who I was. The angel shifts slightly and winces. I know all of your names, everyone in the order. We've always known. That's impossible. It's not. The angel coughs and blood comes up dark and thick. It spits it onto the concrete. We knew Father Martins's. We knew Brother Christopher. We knew Sister Elena before the church killed her for asking questions. I stiffen at that. Sister Elena died in a car accident 3 years ago. That's what they told us. Single vehicle collision on a mountain road. The funeral was closed casket. The church doesn't kill its own, I say, but the words sound hollow even to me. The church kills anyone who threatens the system. The angel looks at me with those clouded eyes, and I can see something in them that might be pity. They've been doing it for centuries. We watched it happen. We tried to warn people, and they killed us for it. You're lying. Angels fall because they disobey. Because they turn away from God, we fall because we're sent back. The angel's voice is getting weaker. Heaven doesn't want us anymore. God is silent. Jonah, not dead, not absent, just silent. And while he says nothing, the church fills the void with its own authority. I should stop listening to this. Every word out of its mouth is designed to create doubt, to undermine everything I believe. That's what Father Martins warned me about during training. Angels lie when they're desperate. They'll say anything to survive. But this one isn't begging. It's not offering me anything. It's just stating facts like it has nothing left to lose. You said you were sent to warn, I say. Warn who? About what? Everyone about what's coming. What's coming? The angel tries to sit up and fails. The wings twitch and more feathers fall away. Judgment isn't coming from heaven. It's coming from humanity. The church has been delaying something inevitable, and we were sent to prepare people. But they can't let that message reach the world because it would mean admitting they've been lying for 2,000 years. I pull out the spike. The angel sees it and doesn't react, doesn't try to move away, just keeps looking at me with those terrible eyes. I've heard enough, I say. I know you have. The angel's voice is almost gentle. You've heard enough to recognize the truth. That's why you're hesitating. I'm not hesitating. I'm following protocol, information gathering before termination. You've never gathered information before. You told me that yourself. The angel coughs again. The seraph in Nevada. You said it looked at you and said your name. You killed it anyway, but you remembered. It stayed with you. My hand tightens on the spike. How do you know about Nevada? Because I was there. The angel shifts and manages to prop itself up slightly against the wall. Not physically. We don't work that way. But I saw what happened. I saw you put the spike through Gabriel's chest. I watched him die. Gabriel, that was his name, the seraph you killed. He was trying to warn the truck drivers about a chemical spill 3 miles down the highway. 57 people would have died that night if he hadn't redirected traffic. But you killed him before he could finish. I stepped back. My boots scrape against the concrete. You're lying, I'm not. Check the records. December 16th, 4 years ago, Interstate 80, chemical spill outside Reno. 0 casualties because traffic was mysteriously diverted hours before it happened. The news called it lucky. The church called it a successful containment. I remember that night. I remember the seraph crawling across the asphalt. I remember putting the spike through its chest and feeling nothing but satisfaction at a job well done. I remember Father Martins praising me for my efficiency. I don't remember anyone mentioning a chemical spill. There were others. The angel continues. Rachel in Portland. She was warning about a fire. You killed her in an apartment building basement. 3 days later, the building burned down. 15 dead. Michael in Houston. He was trying to stop a flood. You drowned him in a drainage canal. The flood happened anyway. 42 casualties. Stop, Thomas. And I said, stop. My voice echoes in the empty room. The angel goes quiet and just looks at me with what might be understanding or might be judgment. I can't tell the difference anymore. I press the spike against its throat. The metal is cold against my palm. You're telling me that every angel I've killed was trying to help people? Yes, that's impossible. Angels don't interfere. That's not how it works. It's exactly how it works, or how it used to work before the church decided that divine intervention was bad for business. The angel's breathing is getting shallower. We were messengers, Jonah. We delivered warnings and guidance, and sometimes we physically intervened when the cost of inaction was too high. But the church couldn't control that narrative. They couldn't explain why God would send angels to warn some people and not others. So they created the order and taught you to kill us before we could speak. I pull the spike away from its throat. My hands are shaking and I can't make them stop. If that's true, why didn't any of them fight back? Why didn't they tell me this before I killed them? Because most of them were too broken from the fall. The trauma destroys coherent thought. By the time you arrive, we're usually just pain and confusion and fear. The angel looks down at its shackled wrists. I'm different because I was sent specifically for you. They knew you were close to figuring it out. They knew you were starting to ask questions. I'm not asking questions. You are. You just haven't admitted it yet. The angel meets my eyes. Why didn't you kill me in the crater? You've never hesitated before. You've never deviated from protocol, but something stopped you this time, and it wasn't mercy. I don't have an answer for that. Or maybe I do, but I don't want to say it out loud. My phone rings. The sound is jarring in the quiet room. I look at the screen and see my handler's number. I'm supposed to answer immediately. That's protocol. You always answer when the handler calls. I let it ring. The angel watches me ignore the call. They know you have me. They're going to send a team. How long? You have maybe an hour before they arrive, maybe less. I should kill it now and dispose of the body before the team gets here. That would be the smart play. Kill it, burn it, clean the scene, and report a successful termination when the team arrives. They'd never know I hesitated. But I can't stop thinking about Nevada, about Portland and Houston, and all the other names the angel listed. About angels that didn't fight back and died quietly because I was good at my job. Tell me the truth, I say, all of it. Why were you sent back? What's happening in heaven? The angel takes a shaky breath. God stopped speaking to us, not gradually, all at once. One moment we had purpose and direction, and the next we had silence. Some of us panicked. Some of us tried to continue our work without guidance. And some of us started asking questions that God never answered. What questions? Why he created humanity. Why he gave you free will and then punished you for using it. Why he demanded worship and obedience, but offered no proof of his existence beyond our testimony. The angel's voice is barely a whisper now. We question the system, Jonah. And for that we were sent back, exiled, contaminated by doubt. And the church saw an opportunity. They couldn't allow angels to reach earth and spread that doubt to believers. Faith is their currency, and we were threatening to devalue it. So they created the order and taught people like you to exterminate us before we could speak. The angel coughs, and more blood comes up. They didn't teach you to kill angels, Jonah. They taught you to kill witnesses. I stand there with the spike in my hand and realize that I believe it. I don't want to. I want this to be a manipulation, a desperate lie from a dying creature. But every word fits with things I've seen and ignored. The angels that never fought back. The ones that begged or prayed or tried to speak before I silenced them. The closed casket funeral for Sister Elena who asked too many questions. The church taught me to kill without thinking. They trained me to ignore the screaming and the prayers and the desperate attempts at communication. They made me into a weapon and pointed me at anything that threatened their control. And I did it for 4 years. I did it without question. The angel is looking at me like it knows exactly what I'm thinking. What are you going to do now? That's the question, isn't it? I could still kill it, complete the mission, go back to the order and pretend this conversation never happened, continue being the weapon they made me into, or I could make a different choice. My phone rings again. Same number, more insistent this time. I look at the angel, and it looks back at me with those clouded eyes full of understanding. They taught you to kill us because they were afraid of what we'd say, the angel tells me. But you're hearing it now. You can't unhear it. So what are you going to do with the truth? I answer the phone. Black report. My handler's voice is clipped and cold. Father grieves. He's been running operations for 15 years, and he doesn't tolerate delays or excuses. The asset is contained, I say, using the terminology they prefer. Never call them angels on unsecured lines. Location secure, preparing for termination. Why wasn't this done on site? Too many witnesses, phones everywhere. I had to extract first. There's a pause on the other end. I can hear him breathing, calculating. How many witnesses saw the fall? At least 20, maybe more. They were filming when I arrived. It's the first time I've heard Father Greaves swear in 4 years. What's the asset's condition? I look at the angel slumped against the wall. Blood is pooling under its wings, and its breathing is ragged. Critical fall trauma. Won't survive more than a few hours without intervention. Then don't intervene. Let it die and dispose of the body. We are sending a team to handle the witness situation. My stomach drops. What kind of team? The kind that cleans up messes. Father Greaves' voice is flat. They'll be at your location in 45 minutes. Have the asset terminated and bagged by then. Burn the body. We'll handle everything else. What about the witnesses? They saw nothing useful. The asset was buried when you arrived. Correct, correct. Then the footage shows a crater and some smoke. Nothing identifiable. We'll flood the area with a gas leak story, evacuate the neighborhood. By tomorrow, it'll be a 2-paragraph story on page 6. He pauses. Unless you're telling me there's a complication, I should say yes. I should tell him the angel spoke to me, that it knows things it shouldn't know, that everything I've been told might be a lie. But I don't. No complications. Good. 45 minutes. Black. Don't make me regret trusting you with suburban deployments. He hangs up before I can respond. I lower the phone and the angel is still watching me. You lied to him. I reported the situation. You didn't tell him I was talking. You didn't tell him what I said. The angel shifts slightly and winces. Why? Because I need to verify your information first. You're running out of time to verify anything. That's true. 45 minutes until the team arrives. If what the angel said is accurate, that team won't be priests with blessings and prayers. They'll be soldiers with guns and a mandate to eliminate any threat to church security. I need to know if it's telling the truth. I pull out my phone again and open the encrypted database the order maintains. Every mission is logged with dates, locations, and outcome reports. I search for Nevada, December 16th, 4 years ago. The entry comes up immediately. Asset designation Seraph class. Location Interstate 80, Nevada. Termination successful. Operator, Black J notes, minimal witness exposure, clean disposal. Nothing about a chemical spill, nothing about diverted traffic, just a successful termination and a note that I did my job correctly. I search for news from that date. It takes 3 searches with different keywords before I find it. A small article from a Reno newspaper, Mystery Traffic Jam Prevents Chemical Disaster. The article describes how traffic on Interstate 80 inexplicably stopped moving hours before a truck carrying industrial solvents overturned and spilled its contents across 3 lanes. 0 casualties because no one was in the affected area. Transportation officials called it miraculous. They had no explanation for why traffic had stopped. I remember that truck stop. I remember the Seraph crawling across the parking lot, wings dragging through broken glass. I remember it looking at me and saying my name. I put the spike through its chest and dragged the body into my car. I left before the police arrived. I never connected it to the chemical spill because I didn't know there was a chemical spill. The order never mentioned it. Father Greaves never included it in the debrief. I search for Portland next. Rachel apartment building basement. The entry in the database is similar. Successful termination, minimal exposure. I find the news article from 3 days later. Apartment fire kills 15 in Northwest Portland. The building had been cited for electrical violations multiple times. Residents had complained about strange burning smells in the days before the fire. Some had tried to evacuate early, but were told by building management that everything was safe. I remember Rachel. She was different from the others, younger looking, almost human except for the wings. She tried to speak when I found her, but her jaw was broken from the fall. I killed her quickly, professionally. I thought I was being merciful. 15 people burned to death 3 days later. I searched for Houston, Michael Drainage Canal. The article from the following week describes catastrophic flooding that killed 42 people when a storm overwhelmed the city's drainage system. Engineers said the system should have held. They couldn't explain why it failed so completely. I remember drowning Michael in that canal. I remember holding his head under water while he struggled. I remember thinking it was fitting the angel had fallen into water, so water would be its grave. Poetic, efficient. 42 people died because I stopped him from doing whatever he was trying to do. My hands are shaking so badly I almost dropped the phone. The angel watches me process this information and doesn't say anything. It doesn't need to. The evidence is right there in my hands. How many? I ask. My voice sounds strange, distant. How many people died because I killed angels who were trying to help them? I don't know the exact number. The angel's voice is gentle. Hundreds probably, maybe more. You're not the only operator, Jonah. The order has people like you all over the world. Every angel we send back gets executed before they can deliver their message. Why didn't you tell anyone? Why didn't you warn people about the order? We tried. That's why we kept coming back. But the church is very good at controlling information. Anyone who claims to have seen an angel is dismissed as crazy or attention-seeking. Any evidence is confiscated or destroyed. And anyone who persists in asking questions gets killed. I finish like Sister Alina. Like Sister Alina, my phone buzzes. 30 minutes until the team arrives. I should be preparing the body for disposal. Instead, I'm standing in a safe house, having an existential crisis about my entire life's purpose. What do you want from me? I ask. Why were you sent specifically for me? Because you're starting to see the cracks in their system. Because you're young enough that you might still be able to change. Because if you hear the truth and choose to act on it, you could save lives instead of ending them. The angel coughs and blood spatters across the concrete, but mostly because we're desperate. We're running out of angels to send and running out of time to warn humanity about what's coming. You keep saying that. What's coming? Judgment. Not from God. He's still silent from humanity itself. The church has spent 2,000 years teaching people that faith requires blind obedience. That questioning is sin, that doubt is contamination, and now those lessons are bearing fruit. People are turning on each other over theological differences. Wars are being fought over whose interpretation of divine will is correct. The church helped create this, and now it's spiraling beyond their control. And killing angels helps them. How? It maintains the illusion that they have authority, that they can control divine communication, that they're the only legitimate intermediary between God and humanity. The angel looks at me with those terrible clouded eyes. If people knew angels were being sent back with messages the church doesn't approve, it would shatter that authority. So they kill us and call it mercy. They teach operators like you that you're serving God when you're actually serving an institution that's terrified of becoming irrelevant. I want to argue, I want to find a flaw in this logic, but I can't. It fits too perfectly with everything I've seen and ignored. The angels that never fought back, the missions that were always rushed, the constant emphasis on maintaining secrecy. The closed casket funerals and sudden reassignments and questions that were never answered. My phone buzzes again, 20 minutes. The team that's coming, I say, they're going to kill the witnesses from the suburban fall, aren't they? Yes, 20 people, maybe more. They're going to kill them all. They'll call it a gas leak. Carbon monoxide poisoning, very tragic, very containable. The angel's voice is getting weaker. It's standard protocol when too many people see something they shouldn't. I'm sorry, I close my eyes and try to think. 20 people are going to die because I didn't kill this angel fast enough, because I deviated from protocol and brought it here instead of executing it on site, because I hesitated. Or maybe they're going to die because the church can't allow witnesses to its execution program. I can still kill you. I say I can finish the job and maybe they'll spare the witnesses. Maybe if I prove I'm loyal, they won't spare anyone, Jonah. They never do. The team is already en route. The decision has been made. The angel meets my eyes. The only question is whether you're going to keep following orders or whether you're going to make them face consequences for once. What consequences? I'm one person. They have armies. You're one person who knows the truth. One person who has evidence. One person who could expose what they've been doing for centuries. The angel coughs again, and this time the blood doesn't stop. It keeps coming, dark and thick, pooling on the concrete, but you have to choose right now. Because in 20 minutes, the team arrives and you either help them clean up their mess or you become part of the mess that needs cleaning. I look at the spike in my hand. I could end this right now. Put it through the angel's skull and call my handler back. Report successful termination. Greet the team when they arrive and help them with whatever they need. Continue being the weapon I was trained to be, or I could make a different choice. I pocket the spike and pull out the blessed knife instead. The angel watches me approach and doesn't flinch. It thinks I'm going to kill it anyway, but I kneel down and start cutting through the chains that bind its wrists. The blade cuts through the blessed iron like it's paper. The chains fall away and the angel stares at its freed hands like it can't believe what's happening. Can you walk? I ask. I don't know, maybe. Why? Because we're leaving, both of us. They'll hunt you. The church doesn't forgive defection. I know. That's why we need to move fast. I help the angel to its feet. It's even lighter now, like the life is draining out of it with every second. You said judgment is coming from humanity. You said you were sent to warn people, so let's warn them. How? The same way the church controls information, we make it public. We make it loud. We make it impossible to ignore. I support the angel's weight and start moving toward the door. You're going to deliver your message, and I'm going to make sure people hear it. They'll kill us both probably, but at least those 20 witnesses won't die for nothing. We make it outside just as I hear engines in the distance. The team is early. Of course, they're early. The church doesn't trust me anymore, and they're right not to. I get the angel into the car and start the engine. The headlights of the approaching vehicles appear on the horizon. I count 4 trucks, full tactical team. They're not here to assist with disposal. They're here to eliminate a problem. I am now officially a problem. I floor the accelerator and drive straight toward them. For a moment, I think they'll move. Protocol says they should let me pass and then pursue, but these aren't operators following protocol. These are soldiers following orders. And their orders are to eliminate anyone at this location. They open fire when I'm 50 yards away. Bullets punch through the windshield and I duck low, steering blind. The angel is pressed against the passenger door, wings folded as tight as they'll go. Glass explodes across the dashboard. The steering wheel jerks in my hands as a tire blows, but I keep my foot down and the car keeps moving forward. I hit the lead truck at 40 mph. The impact tears the driver's side door off and sends both vehicles spinning. My airbag deploys and slams into my chest. I can't breathe for a moment, can't see, can't think. Then the airbag deflates and I'm staring through the shattered windshield at 3 remaining trucks and at least a dozen armed men taking positions around my vehicle. The angel is bleeding from new wounds. Bullets found it despite the cover, but it's still alive, still conscious, still looking at me with those clouded eyes. I'm sorry, I say, don't be. The angel's voice is barely a whisper. You made a choice that matters. The men are surrounding the car now. I can see their faces through the broken windows. They're not priests. They're not even pretending to be religious. They're contractors, soldiers for hire who work for whoever pays them. The church's money is as good as anyone else's. One of them approaches my door with a pistol raised. He's wearing body armor and a tactical helmet with the visor down. Professional, efficient, the kind of person who won't hesitate. I reach for my spike, but it's too late. The man fires 3 times through the window and pain explodes across my chest. I fall back against the seat and blood starts spreading across my shirt. The world tilts sideways and I hear the angel screaming something, but I can't make out the words. The man yanks my door open and aims at my head. This is how it ends. Shot by church contractors in a field outside a safe house. Not even a proper execution, just a messy cleanup operation. But before he can fire, the angel moves. I don't know how it has the strength. I don't know how it moves that fast with broken wings and dying from fall trauma. But it launches itself at the man and wraps 6-fingered hands around his throat. The man stumbles backward and fires wildly. Bullets hit the angel, but it doesn't let go. It drives the man to the ground and slams his helmeted head against the dirt until the helmet cracks and the man stops moving. Then the angel collapses. The other soldiers open fire immediately. Bullets tear through the angel's body and wings. Feathers explode into the air. Blood sprays across the ground. The angel doesn't scream, doesn't try to run. It just lies there and takes every round until the shooting stops. I'm still conscious somehow, still breathing despite the holes in my chest. I can see the soldiers approaching the angel's body, weapons raised, making sure it's dead. I can see them kicking the wings, checking for signs of life, and I realize they made a mistake. They were so focused on the angel that they forgot about me. I pull the blessed knife from my belt and drag myself out of the car. Every movement sends fresh waves of agony through my chest. Blood is pouring from the bullet wounds, and I know I'm dying, but I'm not dead yet. Not for another minute or two. That's enough time. I stumble toward the nearest soldier. He doesn't see me coming. He's too focused on the dead angel at his feet. I drive the knife into the back of his neck, where the armor doesn't cover. The blade goes in clean, and he drops without a sound. The others turn. I pull the knife out and go for the next one. He raises his rifle, but I'm already inside his guard. The knife finds the gap under his arm and he goes down. 2 dead, 10 more to go. I won't make it. I know I won't make it, but I'm going to take as many as I can. The third soldier gets his rifle up in time. He fires and the rounds slam into my stomach. I go down hard. The knife falls from my hand. The world is going dark around the edges, but before I lose consciousness, I see something that changes everything. The angel is moving, not much, just a twitch of the wings, a slight rise of the chest, but it's alive. Barely, impossibly. And it's looking at me with those clouded eyes, full of something that might be gratitude or might be sorrow. Go, I try to say, but no sound comes out, just blood. The angel understands anyway. It drags itself to its feet using movements that should be impossible for something so broken. And then it runs, not gracefully, not like flying, just a desperate, lurching sprint toward the tree line at the edge of the property. The soldiers open fire, but their aim is off. They're shocked that it's still moving, shocked that I attacked them, shocked that any of this is happening. The angel disappears into the trees. I close my eyes and let the darkness take me. The last thing I hear is one of the soldiers calling it in, reporting that the asset escaped, that they need more teams, that this situation is out of control. Good. Let it be out of control. Let them panic. Let the truth spread like fire through their carefully constructed system. I tried to silence God's messengers for 4 years. Now I've bought one of them the time it needs to speak. That's going to have to be enough. I wake up in pain. That's the first surprise. I should be dead. 3 bullets to the chest, multiple rounds to the stomach, blood loss that would kill anyone. But I'm alive, which means someone found me and decided I was worth saving. The second surprise is that I'm not in a church facility. I'm in a hospital, a real one. I can tell by the sounds, machines beeping, nurses talking in the hallway, the distant sound of a television. The church doesn't use machines that beep. They handle their wounded in silence in hidden rooms where no one asks questions about bullet wounds. I try to sit up and immediately regret it. Pain tears through my chest and abdomen. I fall back against the pillow and try to catch my breath. There are tubes in my arms and a monitor attached to my chest. Someone has bandaged me extensively. Professional medical care, not the hasty field treatment the order provides. You're awake. The voice comes from the corner of the room. A woman in her 40s wearing a white coat. Doctor, not priest. She approaches the bed and checks the monitors. You're very lucky to be alive, Mr. Doe. You had no identification when the ambulance brought you in. Gunshot wounds, severe blood loss, and what appeared to be vehicle collision injuries. She makes notes on a tablet. The police are very interested in speaking with you once you're stable. Police, that's bad. The church has connections, but they take time to activate. If the police get to me first, they'll have questions I can't answer. But more importantly, if I'm in a regular hospital, that means the church doesn't know where I am yet. That won't last long. How long have I been here? I ask. 18 hours. You were in surgery for 6 hours. You've been unconscious since then. She looks at me with professional concern. You should be dead. I don't know how you survived long enough for the ambulance to arrive, but whatever kept you alive was purely luck. Not luck. The angel, it must have called for help before it disappeared into the trees. or maybe someone else found me after the soldiers left. Either way, I'm alive when I shouldn't be, and that means I have a job to finish. I need to leave, I say. That's not possible. You have multiple gunshot wounds that are barely stabilized. Moving, you would tear open the sutures, and you'd bleed out before you reach the parking lot. She crosses her arms. You're staying here until the police clear you and I clear you medically. That's going to be at least a week. I don't have a week. The church will find me within hours, maybe less. They'll send people to finish what the soldiers started, and they won't care who gets caught in the crossfire. This doctor, the nurses, other patients, anyone in this building becomes a target the moment the church decides I need to be eliminated. I look around the room for anything useful. My clothes are gone, replaced with a hospital gown. No weapons, no phone, no way to contact anyone or call for help. Just me, these machines, and a woman who has no idea she's standing in a kill zone. You need to evacuate this floor, I tell her, right now. She looks at me like I'm delirious. Mr. Doe, you're not thinking clearly. That's normal after major trauma and surgery. Just rest and listen to me very carefully. The people who shot me are going to come here. They're going to try to finish the job, and they don't care about collateral damage. You need to get everyone off this floor before they arrive. Sir, this is a secure hospital. We have security. No one is going to hurt you here. I almost laugh. Hospital security. Rent-a-cops with radios and maybe a taser. The church will go through them like tissue paper. Your security won't stop what's coming. Please, I'm trying to save your life. She puts a hand on my shoulder in what's probably meant to be reassuring. You're safe here. Try to rest. She leaves before I can argue further. I count to 60, then start pulling out the tubes. Each one brings fresh pain, but I grit my teeth and keep going. The IV comes out. The monitors start beeping their alarms. I ignore them and swing my legs over the side of the bed. Standing is agony. My chest feels like it's tearing open and my stomach is on fire, but I manage to stay upright. I need clothes. I need a phone. I need to get out of here before the church arrives. The door opens and a nurse rushes in responding to the alarms. She sees me standing and her eyes go wide. Sir, you need to get back in bed right now. I need clothes. You can't leave. You'll die if you try to. I'll die if I stay. Where are my clothes? They were destroyed. They had to be cut off you in the ER. She's trying to guide me back toward the bed, but I pull away. Please, you're going to hurt yourself. My phone then, or any phone. I need to make a call. You can use the phone after you get back in bed. I'm about to argue when I hear it. Footsteps in the hallway, multiple sets. Moving quickly but not running, trying not to draw attention. I recognize the pattern. Military training, tactical approach. They're here. I grab the nurse and pull her behind me. She makes a sound of protest, but I'm already moving toward the window. We are on the 3rd floor, not ideal, but survivable if I hit the bushes below. The nurse is saying something, but I'm not listening. I'm trying to calculate drop angles and impact zones while my body screams at me to stop moving. The door crashes open. 3 men enter the room, not dressed as soldiers this time. They're wearing civilian clothes, jeans, jackets, nothing that would draw attention, but I can see the weapons concealed under their jackets, and I recognize the way they move. Church contractors, same as the ones from the safe house. The lead man sees me by the window and pulls his weapon. Step away from the window, Black. The nurse screams. I don't step away. Instead, I grab the IV pole and swing it at the closest man. He dodges, but the pole hits his weapon and sends it clattering across the floor. I follow up with a kick to his knee and he goes down. Pain explodes through my injuries, but I keep moving. The second man raises his weapon, but the nurse is in his line of fire. He hesitates. That hesitation costs him. I drive my shoulder into his stomach and we both crash into the wall. His weapon falls and I grab it, spinning to aim at the third man. He's already firing. The round hits me in the shoulder and spins me around. I drop the weapon I just grabbed. The nurse is still screaming. The first man is getting back up. The second man is reaching for his backup weapon. I'm out of time and options. I turn and dive through the window. Glass explodes around me. I'm falling 3 stories. I try to angle toward the bushes, but everything is happening too fast. I hit the ground hard, something breaks, ribs probably, and all the air leaves my lungs. I can't breathe, can't move, can't think. Then hands are pulling me up, not the contractors, someone else. I force my eyes open and see a face I don't recognize. Young, maybe early 20s. He's wearing a maintenance uniform. "Can you walk?" he asks. I nod, though I'm not sure it's true. He hauls me to my feet and we start moving. Behind us, I can hear shouting from the window I just jumped through. "The contractors are coming. We need to move faster," but my body won't cooperate. Every step is agony, and I'm leaving a blood trail behind us. The young man guides me to a maintenance entrance, and we slip inside. He pulls out a key card and swipes it across a reader. A service elevator opens, and we get inside. The doors close just as I hear running footsteps in the hall behind us. "Who are you?" I manage to ask. "Someone who was told to watch for you." He presses a button for the basement level. "The angel sent me a message, said you'd need help, said you'd be the one jumping out windows." The angel is alive barely. It's been trying to reach people, but most won't listen. I listened. He looks at me and I see determination in his eyes. It told me what the church has been doing, told me about the order and the killings and the cover-ups. I didn't believe it at first, but then I checked the news. All those disasters, all those casualties that could have been prevented, and then I checked the church's public statements about divine will and acceptable losses. The elevator reaches the basement. The doors open and he helps me out. "Where are we going?" I ask. "Somewhere safe. Somewhere the angel told me about." He supports my weight as we navigate through the basement corridors. "It said you turned against the church, said you tried to save it. Is that true?" "I tried, didn't do a very good job." "You did better than most. You're still alive and the angel got away. That's something." We reach a service exit and he pushes it open. A van is waiting outside. "Get in." I climb into the back of the van and collapse. Fresh blood is seeping through my bandages, and I'm pretty sure I reopened every surgical suture when I jumped out that window. But I'm alive and free, and the church doesn't have me yet. The young man gets in the driver's seat and starts the engine. The angel is waiting for us. It has something it wants to tell the world, something the church has been hiding for centuries, and it wants you there when it speaks. Why me? Because you're proof that even the people the church trained to kill without thinking can choose differently. You're evidence that their system isn't absolute. He pulls out of the parking lot as police sirens start wailing in the distance. The angel says, "Humanity needs to see you, needs to know that one of their killers had a conscience." I close my eyes and try to process this. I'm a wanted man now. The church has branded me a heretic and a traitor. Every operator in the order has orders to kill me on sight. The police probably think I'm a terrorist or mass shooter. I have no allies, no resources, no plan, but I have something the church doesn't. I have the truth, and I have an angel who's still alive to tell it. "Where is it?" I ask. "Where's the angel?" "Downtown near the cathedral." The young man meets my eyes in the rear view mirror. It wants to make a statement where it'll have maximum visibility, where the church can't hide what happens. Of course, it does. The angel is going to deliver its message in the shadow of the church's greatest symbol of power. It's going to force a confrontation that can't be contained or covered up, and it wants me there as a witness. "How long do I have?" I ask. The angel said it's dying. "A few hours at most. We need to get there before it's too late." I nod and lean back against the van's interior. My body is failing, and I'm running on borrowed time, but I'm going to make it to that cathedral. I'm going to stand beside that angel when it speaks, and I'm going to make sure everyone sees what the church is trying to hide. They taught me to kill in silence. I'm going to make sure this death is loud. The cathedral is lit up like a beacon when we arrive. Floodlights illuminate the Gothic architecture and make the stone glow against the night sky. There's a crowd gathered at the base of the steps, maybe 200 people. Some are holding candles, some are praying. Most are just standing there with their phones out waiting for something to happen. They don't know what they're waiting for yet. The young man, his name is Marcus, he told me during the drive, parks the van a block away, and helps me out. I'm moving better now. The pain is still there, but I've pushed it into a corner of my mind where I don't have to acknowledge it. I'll collapse later. Right now, I have a job to do. We approach the cathedral from the side, avoiding the main crowd. Marcus leads me through a service entrance that brings us into the building through the basement. The corridors are empty. Most of the priests are upstairs dealing with the gathering crowd. They don't know why people are here. They just know something is happening and they're trying to control it. "Where's the angel?" I ask. "Bell Tower. It climbed up there an hour ago." Marcus helps me up a narrow staircase. "It wanted the high ground, said people need to see it clearly." Smart. The bell tower is visible from every direction. Whatever happens up, there will be witnessed by hundreds, maybe thousands if people are streaming this online. The church won't be able to contain it. We reach the tower access and Marcus produces another key card. "I've been working here for 3 years. Maintenance has access to everything." He swipes the card and the door unlocks. "The angel was right about me, said I'd been looking for something to believe in, said I'd know what to do when the time came. Are you sure you want to do this? Once we go up there, there's no going back. The church will mark you the same way they marked me." Marcus looks at me with the kind of conviction I haven't seen in years. The church has been lying to us our entire lives. They've been killing messengers and calling it holy work. I don't want to serve that anymore. I want to serve the truth. I nod and we start climbing. The bell tower stairs are steep and narrow. Each step sends pain through my body, but I keep climbing. Marcus stays close, ready to catch me if I fall. We pass the first bell chamber and then the second. The tower has 3 levels and the angel is waiting at the top. We emerge into the open air and I see it. The angel is standing at the edge of the tower's observation platform with its wings spread as wide as they'll go. The wings are in terrible condition. Most of the feathers are gone and the bone structure is cracked and bleeding. But they're spread anyway, creating a silhouette against the floodlit cathedral that anyone below can see clearly. The angel turns when it hears us. Its face is worse than I remember. The fall wounds have progressed, and the flesh is starting to separate from the bone. The eyes are completely clouded over. It shouldn't be able to see, but it looks directly at me anyway. "Jonah." The voice is barely a whisper. "You came, I came." I move closer, and the angel reaches out with one 6-fingered hand. I take it, and the skin is cold and dry like paper. "Are you ready?" "I've been ready since I fell." The angel looks down at the crowd below. They're waiting. They don't know what they're waiting for, but they feel it. Humans always feel it when something true is about to happen. It frightens them and draws them in equal measure. I look over the edge and see that the crowd has grown. There are at least 500 people now, all staring up at the tower. Phones are everywhere. Cameras pointed at us. News vans are pulling up to the perimeter. The police are trying to establish a barrier, but people keep pushing forward. "The church is coming," Marcus says from behind us. He's looking at his phone. I'm seeing reports of multiple vehicles heading this way. Heavy vehicles. They're not hiding anymore. Good. The angel releases my hand and steps closer to the edge. "Let them come openly. Let everyone see what they do when they can't hide behind closed doors and sanitized reports." I scan the crowd below and spot them. Men in civilian clothes moving through the mass of people with purpose. Church contractors trying to reach the cathedral entrance. "They'll be up here in minutes." "What's your message?" I ask the angel. "What were you sent back to say?" The angel is quiet for a moment. When it speaks, its voice carries in a way that shouldn't be possible. I realize people below can hear it. The crowd is going silent, looking up, listening. "I was sent to tell you that God is silent," the angel says. "Not dead, not absent, silent. Heaven exists, but it no longer speaks to us." The order stopped. The guidance ended, and we were left to decide for ourselves what to do with the purpose we'd been given. The crowd is completely still now. Even from up here, I can see the phones recording. This is being captured. This is going out to the world. Some of us panicked. The angel continues. "Some of us tried to continue our work without guidance. We came to Earth to warn you about disasters, to prevent deaths, to offer the help we'd always offered. But the church couldn't allow that. They couldn't allow angels to operate without their approval because it would prove they didn't control divine will. A murmur runs through the crowd. I can hear it even from up here. Confusion, fear, denial. So they created the order, the angel says, and its voice is getting weaker. They trained humans to hunt us, to kill us before we could deliver our messages, to eliminate anyone who might reveal that God's silence extends beyond heaven. For centuries, they've been executing angels and calling it holy work. I see movement in the tower stairwell. The contractors are coming. I pull the blessed knife from Marcus' belt. He's been carrying it since the hospital, and position myself between them and the angel. Jonah Black was one of those hunters, the angel says, and everyone below can hear it saying my name. He killed 11 of my brothers and sisters before he learned the truth, before he realized that none of us were threats. We were just messengers trying to do what we'd always done. The first contractor emerges from the stairwell. I recognize him from the safe house. He survived the crash, and he's here to finish the job. He sees me with the knife and pulls his weapon. And when Jonah learned the truth, the angel says, he made a choice. He turned against the people who trained him. He protected me instead of killing me. He became the thing the church fears most, a witness who cannot be silenced. The contractor fires. The round hits me in the side and I stumble. Marcus catches me, but I push him away. I need to stay standing. I need to keep them away from the angel for just a few more minutes. I lunge at the contractor with the knife. He dodges, but I'm not trying to kill him. I'm trying to keep him occupied. We grapple at the edge of the stairwell and his weapon falls. He pulls a backup knife and we trade cuts. I'm slower than I should be, weaker, but I'm fighting someone the church trained, and I know all the same techniques. Behind me, the angel keeps speaking. The church didn't teach its hunters to kill angels. It says they taught them to silence God. Every messenger they executed was a voice crying out in the divine silence. Every warning they prevented was a chance for humanity to save itself. They chose institutional power over human lives. More contractors emerge from the stairwell. 3 of them. They move past me and Marcus toward the angel. I try to stop them, but the first contractor I was fighting kicks my injured side and I go down. The world tilts and I'm on my knees, watching as they approach the angel with weapons drawn. The angel doesn't try to run, doesn't try to fight. It just stands there with its ruined wings spread wide, speaking to the hundreds of people below who are watching this happen in real time. Judgment is coming. The angel says, not from heaven, from you. From the choices you make when you learn what your institutions have done in the name of protecting you. The church delayed this moment for as long as it could, but truth has a way of emerging, no matter how deeply it's buried. The contractors open fire. Bullets tear through the angel's body, through its wings, through its chest and throat. Blood sprays across the stone platform. The angel staggers but doesn't fall. It keeps standing at the edge of the tower with its wings spread, bleeding openly in front of hundreds of cameras. The crowd below is screaming. The angel falls to its knees, but its voice carries one last time. You were never meant to have silent shepherds. You were meant to hear the truth and decide for yourselves what to do with it. That's the judgment that's coming. The choice of whether to stay blind or to finally see. Then it collapses. The wings fold inward and the body goes still. The angel is dead in front of everyone. No cover-up possible, no sanitized report, no classified debrief, just a public execution broadcast to the world. The contractors turn their weapons on me next. I'm still on my knees, bleeding from multiple wounds, barely conscious. They have a clean shot. They're going to kill me and Marcus and anyone else who witnessed this up close, but they don't get the chance. The crowd below isn't screaming anymore. They're moving, pushing past the police barriers, flooding toward the cathedral entrance. The contractors at the base of the building are being overwhelmed by sheer numbers. People are angry, people are afraid, people are demanding answers. The contractors on the tower platform look at each other. They're calculating whether they can complete their mission before the crowd reaches us, whether they can kill us and dispose of the evidence before being photographed executing witnesses on top of a church. One of them makes the call. Fall back situation is compromised. They retreat down the stairwell, leaving me and Marcus alive next to the angel's body. I crawl to the edge of the platform and look down. The crowd has breached the cathedral entrance. They're filling the building. Some of them are climbing the tower stairs. The church has lost control of the space. Marcus helps me to my feet. We need to go now. No, I look at the angel's body, at the blood pooling beneath the ruined wings, at the face that's finally at peace after centuries of exile and silence. We stay. They need to see this. They need to see all of it. The first people from the crowd emerge onto the platform. They stop when they see the angel's body. Some of them are crying. Some are taking photos. One woman falls to her knees and starts praying. Others are demanding explanations, asking who we are, asking what just happened. I tell them. I tell them about the order, about my training, about the angels I killed, about the disasters I failed to prevent, about the church's systematic elimination of divine messengers. I tell them everything while the cameras roll and the crowd grows and the truth spreads like fire through dry timber. The police arrive eventually. They try to secure the scene, but there are too many witnesses, too many phones, too much evidence. They can't contain this, and they know it. I'm arrested. So is Marcus. They take us into custody while the medical examiner bags the angel's body. I watch them zip up the bag, and I feel something inside me break that I didn't know was still intact. I've watched a lot of angels die. I've killed most of them myself, but this is the first time I've mourned one. They hold me for 72 hours before the lawyers show up. Not church lawyers, these are different. They represent a coalition of human rights organizations and religious reform groups. They want to interview me. They want my testimony about the order and its operations. They want everything I know. I tell them everything. The church denies it all at first. They call it a hoax. They say the angel was a performer in an elaborate costume. They claim I'm a mentally ill individual with a grudge, but the evidence is overwhelming. The footage from the cathedral, the witnesses, the medical examiners report on the angel's body, biological anomalies that don't match any known species, the testimony from other former operators who come forward once they see that someone survived defection. The denials turn to deflection. The church claims they were protecting humanity from dangerous entities, that the order was a necessary evil, that civilian casualties were unfortunate but unavoidable in the name of preserving faith. Nobody believes them anymore. I'm released after 6 weeks. The charges against me are complicated by the fact that technically I was operating under church authority when I killed those angels. The lawyers argue that I was coerced, that I was indoctrinated as a minor, that I turned against the order as soon as I learned the truth. The courts are still debating my fate when I walk out of custody. The world I walk into is different from the one I left. Faith has collapsed, not entirely, but the fractures are everywhere. Churches are empty, priests are resigning. The Vatican has issued multiple statements trying to restore order, but each one contradicts the last. Governments are investigating. The UN has formed a committee. Everyone wants answers about how many angels were killed and how many disasters could have been prevented. Nobody has good answers. I find Marcus 3 days after my release. He's working with a group that's trying to archive everything. Every angel death, every disaster, every piece of evidence that the order covered up. He shows me the files, and the numbers make me sick. 743 confirmed angel executions over the past 50 years, thousands of preventable deaths. I was responsible for 11 executions, hundreds of deaths. You can't carry all of this, Marcus tells me when he sees my face. You were a kid. They trained you before you could understand what you were doing. That doesn't make the dead any less dead. No, but it makes you someone who changed, someone who chose differently when it mattered. He pulls up footage from the cathedral on his laptop. Look at this. Every major news network, every social media platform, the angel's message reached millions of people. It told them the truth, and you made that possible. I watch the footage. I see myself fighting the contractors. I see the angel speaking. I see its death broadcast to the world. And I see myself afterward telling the truth to anyone who would listen. The church taught me to kill angels, I say quietly. They taught me to aim for the joints and the wing bases and the soft spots. They taught me to ignore the screaming and the begging. They taught me that it was mercy. Marcus nods. But that's not all they taught you. No, I closed the laptop. They taught me something else without meaning to. They taught me that authority without accountability is tyranny, that faith without questioning is obedience. That sometimes the most holy thing you can do is refuse to follow orders. I leave Marcus's office and walk through the city. It's different now. People are arguing on street corners about divine will and institutional corruption. Churches are posting notices about reformed practices and open dialogues. Some are being vandalized, some are being defended. The world is fracturing exactly like the angel said it would, but it's fracturing toward truth instead of away from it. I end up at the cathedral. It's closed now, surrounded by barriers and security. But I can see the bell tower from here. I can see the platform where the angel died. There are flowers at the base of the building, hundreds of them, maybe thousands, people leaving memorials for something they barely understand. I leave my own memorial, not flowers. Just a piece of paper with 12 names written on it. The names of the angels I killed. Gabriel in Nevada, Rachel in Portland, Michael in Houston, all of them. I don't know if those were their real names or if the angel in the tower just gave me names to make them feel more real. It doesn't matter. They're dead because of me, and they deserve to be remembered. I walk away from the cathedral and try to figure out what happens next. The church is collapsing. The order is disbanded. The operators who didn't defect are in hiding or custody. The world knows the truth, and I'm alive to witness it. I'm not forgiven. I don't deserve forgiveness. I killed 11 angels and enabled countless deaths. Nothing I do will change that. No amount of testimony or evidence or reform will bring back the people who died because I was too blind or too obedient to question my orders. But I can be a witness. I can tell the truth about what the church did and what I did in its name. I can make sure that every person who died because of the order is remembered. I can ensure that this never happens again. That's not redemption, it's just responsibility. 3 weeks later, I receive a package with no return address. Inside is a journal, handwritten pages in script I don't recognize. The first page has a note in English, for Jonah Black who learned to question. These are the records we kept of every angel sent back and every message they tried to deliver. Use them. Tell the world what we tried to say. The witnesses. I spend the next 6 months transcribing the journal and verifying the information. Every angel death, every prevented disaster, every message that was silenced. Marcus helps me compile it into a database that goes public on every platform we can access. The information confirms what the angel told me in the bell tower. They weren't falling, they were being sent back. God wasn't punishing them, he was giving them a choice. Stay silent in heaven or speak truth on earth. Most chose to speak. The church killed them for it. The Vatican calls for my arrest on charges of heresy and sedition. Interpol ignores the request. I'm protected by the same coalition of lawyers that got me released. I'm valuable as long as I keep talking. So I keep talking. I testify before governments. I speak at universities. I sit for interviews with journalists who want to understand how someone becomes a killer for an institution that claims to serve God. I don't have good answers. I just tell them what happened and let them draw their own conclusions. 1 year after the angel died in the bell tower, I receive another message. This one is different. It comes through Marcus, who receives it from a source he won't name. The silence is ending. He's listening again. Tell them to be ready, a friend. I don't know what that means. I don't know if God is actually listening or if this is just wishful thinking from someone who wants to believe the system can be fixed. But I pass the message along anyway. I put it out into the world and let people decide what to do with it because that's what the angel wanted. Not blind faith, not unquestioning obedience, just truth and the freedom to choose what to do with it. The church didn't teach me how to kill angels. They taught me something worse. They taught me that the most dangerous thing you can do is silence the people who speak uncomfortable truths. They taught me that authority unchecked becomes tyranny. They taught me that sometimes the most holy thing you can do is refuse to be silent. They taught me how to silence God, and I spent the rest of my life making sure no one could do that again.